What unique perspectives or experiences can you bring to storytelling as a Black gay producer and director? And how do you approach telling these stories authentically and respectfully?
Hmm. Good question. So, um, I grew up during the time when television, especially, I'm an 80s baby, but during the 90s, that's when television was at an all-time high.
Mhm.
They were, I'm talking about producing 30 episodes a season. Now you barely get 10, so they were, they were
Gotta wait 2 years.
just, every show had opening credits like a music video. Even in the movies, there was a soundtrack. There were music videos to the set, to the sound, like all of those things. And so, what I've prided myself off on doing is bringing that era back, especially when it comes to HD Productions Network. I'm known for like my music scoring and just visually, like how I'm a Shonda Rhimes fan, so like how artistically shooting different things, especially when it's dramatic, like using your blues, your cold hues, just different things of that nature. And so for me, different perspectives and experiences, what I like doing is going back to what worked back in the 90s. Like I said, I was a big Aaron Spelling fan. That's who did like Melrose Place, 90210, Charmed, all of those, Dawson's Creek, all of those, Team Party of Five. You know what I'm saying? Like all those ensembles.
Dawson's Creek is so good.
You
One
know
of
what I'm
my
saying?
favorites.
Yes. And so basically what I do is, I mean, we're Black queer, so like to be honest, no one, unless you're our age bracket, is gonna remember that type of television programming. But then again, that was white television as well. So
Mhm.
when you take those same templates and those same perspectives and then you make it Black and gay, you have, that's a formula, you know what I'm saying? So for me, as a producer, I can take an idea and then it could be mainstream as far as like a heterosexual couple, and then I take that same circumstance with that couple and then idealize it, within the homosexual, realm, and then it's
Mhm.
a whole different narrative when you do that. It's so different because you know what I'm saying, like straight couples can have affairs all the time. It's not front. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, they do all these things, but then I did Blue Vontae the final season, and I was involved. My character was involved in a poly relationship, and baby, did that spark conversation on the web. So, like, my thing is to bring different perspectives over to our culture
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
utilize the the way that how TV was just done back in the day and try to bring that back. And then like there's a lot of LGBT rappers, singers. So if you ever like listen to Blue Bonte, I always have a soundtrack and there are nothing but Black LGBT. I don't use anybody else but Black LGBT artists. And so for me, it's all about community. And like I said, together everyone accomplishes more. So it's just not the director, not just the writer, it's the talent, it's the Black queer you know, production manager, the executive assistant. It's the
Everybody, pretty much.
everybody pretty much together. Like we're showing you that we can do the same thing that Aaron Spelling did all those years ago. I can do the same thing that Aaron Spelling or Shonda Rhimes did because they're in these high spaces, and just because I'm indie, well, I'm now getting looked at by these networks. You know what I'm saying? So like for me,
Speak
it's
on it.
working. It's it must be working. You know what I'm saying? Like because now it's like who is this and how where how did they come up with this? And every time it's always it goes back to what I saw growing up, like the movies that were made back then, like some of your classics. Friday, that was an independent movie.
It was.
Mhm.
All these booty call, like all these different movies, they didn't have major studio backing, and so like even with me and Jesse, like our goal is to shoot things in like an ultra like low budget realm, like maybe 100 to like I haven't even reached that, but like we're doing one that's like an ultra low budget, like 100 to $250,000. For me, that's a lot of budget to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm always dealing with like the 20s and 30s, but then like as you elevate, what I'm saying, like I'm now seeing, okay, I can touch 150 and then the network can be comfortable because those credits mean something. Those years of experience that realize and living for the week and all the things I did from 2014, 15, 16, those that is your credits. That is your way of getting in the door. And so that's why it goes back to your other question from before, like what would you tell other people who are starting out? Consistency. You have to stay with it because you may get 5 views and then one
Mm-hmm.
day you wake up and you got 1 million views, and then you've got, what are you gonna
Mm-hmm.
do with that? You got to be consistent, because if you gotta wait 4 or 5 weeks to try to get another million, you're gonna lose the momentum. So you always have to be ready, so you always have to stay ready, so you won't have to get ready.
I love that, and I think about people like one. Your soundtracks do be banging, so like that's a real thing, and it kind of reminds me of like one thing that I loved about all of Issa Rae's projects, but specifically Insecure. Them
Hmm.
fucking soundtracks was always hitting,
Mm-hmm.
and I found certain artists because
Same.
of because of watching Insecure,
Right.
right? I was like, who is this? Who is this? And then boom, they would play it, right?
Hmm.
But one thing, speaking of Issa Rae, like I love that you talked about once again, you just like hammered home that consistency, right? Because everybody, there would be no Insecure if it wasn't for Awkward Black Girl, right?
Right.
Awkward Black Girl started on YouTube,
Hmm.
right? Which is a YouTube series, and like I just want to encourage people, just don't let anybody like down what you're doing or what the level, like people are like, oh, that's just a YouTube series, that's just this. One of my favorite YouTube series, I'm sure you know of it, was it's called Giants.
Yes.
JR Bland, fucking amazing
Mhm.
talent. And he wrote that, and it won a daytime Emmy.
Yeah, it did. It won the year before we got our nomination.
You YouTube series, like, and you're getting nominations and you're going to win your daytime Emmy, period.
Mm-hmm.
um so it's just a matter of showing up, and don't let anybody tell you that whatever you're doing is just a little. What you're doing, there's nothing little about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just remember that.